Help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. You do everything wrong, Megan tells me over the sink. Even the way you rinse a glass. Tilt it. Not like that. Honestly, how did you make it to 45? I set the tumbler upside down on the rack, let the water run a second longer than needed, and look at her. She's standing in one of my shirts like it's a lab coat, hands on hips, correcting my life by the square inch. The timer on the oven blinks 6:10 a.m. Coffee's gone lukewarm. The house smells like burned toast because she rejected the first slice as too brown to eat. You want the glass done your way? I tell her. Do it your way. You want me to do it? I'll do it mine. That's the problem, she says, pointing at the cup like it's evidence. Your way is wrong. Your shirts, your schedule, your diet, all of it. You're sloppy. It makes me look like I live with a teenager. I take a breath, not for calm, for clarity. You finished. For now. Great. New rule. I say, picking up my keys. I'm done with the Sunday planning meetings and the nightly debriefs. Not doing performance reviews at home. Her mouth opens. We need structure. You drift. I run a shop with 8 employees, Meg. The drifting guy signs paychecks. From today, we're splitting expenses down the middle, mortgage, utilities, groceries. I'll transfer my half on the first. My account stays mine. Your account stays yours. She folds her arms. So you can spend on toys and leave me with the real things? Real things like your 3 subscription boxes and weekly salon visits? You handle yours. I'll handle mine. If you need help with something big, ask. Don't assign. She smirks. You really think you'll keep that up? You can't even keep a glass straight. It's a glass, I say, grabbing my jacket. Not a referendum. If I'd known where it would go from there, I'd have filed papers that morning and spared us both the next 2 months. At work, Marcos lobs a wrench into the parts bin and grins at me across the bay. He's got that look he saves for when my face says more than my words. So the kitchen tribunal met again. She promoted herself to quality control for my entire existence. I tell him, checking the schedule on the shop tablet. I made a new policy. Separate accounts. No more nightly briefings. Marcos whistles. That'll play well. It'll play however it plays. I'm not negotiating being micromanaged at home after 12 hours here. He wipes his hands. You want to crash at my place if it gets loud? Not loud. Cold, I say. She's gone from a person to an audit. That night, she tries version 2. Not yelling. Ice. She eats at the counter and texts while I plate my dinner. When I ask about her day, she answers with blanks filled by sighs. You want to talk? I ask. It's late. It's 6:30. I'm mentally late, she says, and leaves her plate in the sink for me to see. I rinse it, tilt it, set it the way she likes. Not a concession, just data. 2 days later, she tries humor that isn't humor. You're seriously wearing that? She asks by the front door, flicking a piece of lint from my jacket. The jacket with the shoulders that make you look tender? Good news. I tell her, I don't dress for the committee. People notice. Then they'll survive. At the neighborhood cookout, the jokes sharpen. She's got an audience, several couples, a grill, a half-dozen lawn chairs. Our neighbor Shannon leans in with the smile that means she's storing things for later. Megan taps my beer bottle. Show them your new organization system. It's adorable. He has little labeled bins like he's in kindergarten. I consider it once, let it go once. Second time, I answer. Careful, Meg. You're wandering into talking about me like I'm not here. She laughs without looking at my face. It's cute. He gets sensitive. I set the bottle on the table. Last warning. I don't do public teasing. If you want to talk about me, talk to me. Shannon lowers her fork. Tyler, my friend who runs a metal shop, nods slowly like he's watching a weld cool. Megan rolls her eyes. I give it air. No scene. Just the new border drawn where everyone can see it. Back home, she comes quiet. No slam, no fire. She slides into the kitchen like a cat and places a plate with a folded omelet in front of me while I'm checking the calendar on my phone. I was off earlier, she says. The cookout. I didn't mean to make you feel small. You're good at what you do. I cut into the omelet. Perfect fold. Thanks. We should get back to our Sunday meetings, she adds, hooking a hair behind her ear. That keeps us strong. That keeps you assigning tasks and me nodding. I say, finishing the bite. We're not doing it. We can try something leaner. 15-minute check-ins twice a week. Bullet points only. No judging, no scorecards. Her smile sticks like tape losing its grip. You think you can handle that kind of discipline? Let's find out. She's soft for a day. She sends me a photo of a grocery list she cleaned up, color-coded. She messages me, "Hey, thinking about you." The kindness feels like an apology with a price tag dangling. On Thursday, the price tag swings. I'm under a truck at Tyler's shop swapping a transmission cooler when she appears in the doorway with her hands full of shopping bags. "Wrap it up," she says. "We're meeting Lila and Grant at the Bancroft at 7. Tyler looks at me, then at her, then goes back to sorting washers. He doesn't do domestic politics. I slide out on the creeper. "I told you I've got 2 after-hours jobs this week. I'm not dropping paying work for a dinner where I get explained." "It's not about the dinner," she says. "It's about showing up. They think you're careful," I say, wiping my hands. "Say it and own it." She straightens. "They think you're rough around the edges, okay? You could use polishing. That's what partners do. They shape." Tyler coughs like a laugh he kept in a pocket too long. I stand, wipe my palms again, and address the room like it's a staff meeting. "New policy," I say. "I'm not attending any event where I'm the project. If I hear a 'let me fix you' line, I'm out. If the invite is about presentation, I'm out. Not angry, not dramatic, just out." Megan blinks. "You're overreacting." I'm correcting. "And I'm making one more change." I pull out my phone, open the shared calendar we use, and block Tuesday and Thursday nights as shop, recurring, indefinite. I show her the screen. "If you plan something for those slots, I won't be there. Don't double book me without asking." You can't just mark your life like that." "I just did," I say, and put the phone away. "You want to go to dinner? Take your car." I go back under the truck. She stands without moving for a full minute, then spins on her heel and leaves fast enough to make the door shutter. Tyler slides a box of bolts with his boot. "Not subtle," he says. "Had to be loud enough to hear." The next morning, she does version 2 of the soft return. She shows up at my shop with sandwiches and kisses me in front of Marcos and the guys. "I brought lunch," she says. "I want to watch you work." It's attractive when you're in charge. Marcos raises his eyebrows so high they're in a different zip code. I unwrap the sandwich, nod, and keep directing the crew. "Thanks," I tell her. "You can sit over there. Don't give notes." She actually laughs. Fair. For 2 days, the correction campaign pauses. Then it comes back in higher definition. "Why are your tools arranged like a hardware store and not like a person lives here?" she asks on Saturday. "Because people put them back in the same place. Normal people don't need a map to their own stuff." "I do. It saves time." "Your time isn't the only time that matters," she says. "You should stop your early workout. It makes you crabby. We'll do yoga instead." "No. No? You don't want to try something new with me?" "Not when new means me doing what you tell me." She exhales. "You're impossible. And you're persistent," I say. "So let's get precise. I'm moving to the guest room for 2 weeks. I want to reset." We talk at the check-ins, not in every doorway. "If you criticize me publicly again, I leave the event. If you bring me a list, it better be about bills or groceries, not my personality." Her eyes narrow. "You're punishing me." I'm setting a new format. If you want to keep pushing, the format gets tighter. Your call. At work Monday, my supervisor Denise, 52, sonar for nonsense, leans on my office door and watches me update the board. "You look like a man who just put down a bag he carried too long," she says. "I moved rooms," I tell her. "At home. You board or boundary?" "Boundary," I say. "Good," she says, and taps the door frame twice like punctuation. "Men your age die from swallowing words." That night, Megan tries an audit. She slides a piece of paper across the island with categories. My spending last month, my meals, even my time on my phone. "We should review and pick targets," she says. "This is how high-functioning couples operate." I push it back. "Pick targets for yourself. I'm not a project. Don't be dramatic. I'm being dull." Dull is repeatable. I'm not reading that. She laughs a little. "Of course you're not. Reading is hard. Insults are easy," I say, and grab my gym bag. "I'm going to the gym. You want to join? Send me a text saying, I'll be there in 10. No, we need to talk." 2 days later, she escalates to the silent treatment. "No good mornings. No, do you need anything from the store?" Just clipped movements and the heavy air of a household where every step is watched. I keep my plan. Guest room. Check-ins. No committee meetings disguised as love. Shannon corners me by the mailbox. You okay? She asks in a tone designed to earn gossip points. I'm restructuring, I answer. Sounds corporate. Better than chaotic, I say. She smiles like it's disappointing that I didn't crumble in her hands. If you need a pie, I can drop one off. I'm good on pie. The first check-in is fast and clean. Bills paid. Appointments covered. Groceries split. She pushes 2 out-of-scope items. I redirect both without heat. She ends the meeting with, "You're not easy. You've told me. And you're not as impressive as you think you are." Not trying to impress, I tell her. Trying to be respected. What if I don't? Then we don't, I say. 2 weekends in, she suggests a couples workshop. She sends me a link and a heart. I reply, we're not a tech project. We need basic respect, not modules. She sends a thumbs up and a message. I just want better. I don't answer. I don't reward soft words when they're attached to control. Pressure builds toward the family dinner. It's a Sunday. Her mother, Linda, likes to build plates like altars. Her father, Frank, is retired law enforcement, a man who watches everything and says a third of what he's thinking. Megan has always been louder around them, like she's auditioning for a part she already has. Before we go, I lay out rules in the car. 1. I say, pulling into their driveway. No public corrections. 2. No lists. 3. If I say I'm done, I'm done. She stares out the window. You have rules for your wife now. I have rules for myself. You can respect them or not. And I'll act accordingly. Inside, the house smells like pot roast and sanitizer. Linda hugs Megan like she's saving her from a boat. Frank shakes my hand with a pressure that says he clocks grip strength. At the table, Megan opens with safe ground. How's business, Jack? Steady, I tell her. We hired a new tech. Liam. Good kid. Sharp. She nods like she was hoping for a weak answer. Still doing that early workout? It's not flattering. Frank's fork pauses, barely. It keeps me sane, I reply. And it's not for flattering. Linda's eyes move between us like she's watching a tennis match. We prayed for your marriage this week, she says, earnest and heavy. Thanks, Megan says, and pats her mom's hand. We need it. He's stubborn. He thinks everything's fine. We're doing fine, I say. We're recalibrating. Recalibrating like when a car wobbles, she says, and laughs. You know, when the wheels aren't aligned. I cut a piece of meat and let it sit on the fork. If you want to talk about me, talk to me, Meg. I am, she says brightly. I just think it's helpful to get feedback. From your parents about my workout and my job? From people who care, she answers. Frank clears his throat. He doesn't reach for a speech. Megan sets down her glass like she's ringing a bell and makes a show of pulling out her phone. It might be easier if I just read it, she says. I put together some notes. Don't, I tell her. It's constructive, she says, tapping the screen. Okay. Item 1, his food choices. He eats like a college kid. Item 2, communication. He's curt, not emotionally literate. Item 3, appearance. He dresses like a mechanic even when we go out. Item 4, social skills. He's blunt, which reads as rude. Item 5, I set my fork down and let the silence hold for a beat. Linda stares like she wants to stop it, but doesn't know how to interrupt her own daughter. Frank's jaw works once and then settles. I push back my chair. The legs scratch the floor. I stand, and the room changes shape around me. The biggest mistake, I say, meeting Megan's eyes and then Frank's, marrying you. The words drop and sit there like a tool on concrete. No echo, no apology attached. Frank's mouth flickers into something that isn't a smile, but isn't disapproval. He gives me a small, almost imperceptible nod. Linda gasps, hand to her chest. Megan's face goes glassy, the kind of stillness that comes when control slips and nothing replaces it. I pick up my jacket. I'm done for tonight, I add calm. Eat well. I walk out without speed, just direction. In the car, I sit long enough to feel the engine idle under my hand, then drive home, pack a duffel with tools, clothes, and my passport, and put it in the bed of my truck. I sleep in the guest room with the door locked, not for fear, for privacy. The next morning, I take a personal day and go to the county office. I sign what needs signing. No speeches, no ceremony. The clerk stamps papers, and the sound is the cleanest sound I've heard in months. On the way back, I stop at the bank and remove my name from the joint card I opened last spring for convenience. The manager offers me coffee. I decline. I close the account we used for vacations and split the balance according to the notes I prepared years ago and never thought I'd use. In my email drafts already sits a list: utilities, subscriptions, keys. I forward it to her with a short note. Effective today, separate finances per our agreement. Please transfer your half of September's mortgage by the 1st. I'll shut off autopay on anything not in my name. I drive to a storage unit near the shop and fill it with the things that are mine and mine alone: tools, records, photo albums from my parents, a set of family dishes that I don't want donated in a fury. Logistics is love, I think. Logistics is also exit. When I get back to the house, Megan is in the kitchen with her arms folded and her phone face down like it's a weapon she set on safe. You filed, she says. Not a question. I did. You humiliated me in front of my parents, and then you filed. You humiliated me in front of your parents and tried to call it help. I answer. I corrected both. You could have talked to me. I did. For weeks. I set rules. You turned them into jokes. She steps closer. We can fix this. We could have, I say. We don't. You love me, she says. It's half sentence, half command. I loved us, I reply. You love control. She flinches like the word is a light she didn't expect. I can be different. I've seen you're different, I say. It lasts 48 hours and comes with a receipt. She shakes her head. That's not fair. It's accurate. She points at the guest room door. You think moving into that room made you strong. It made you petty. Strong is giving an adult a boundary and holding it. Petty is emptying a man by an inch and calling it love. I don't do inches. You're making a mistake. I corrected one last night. I say, this is me correcting the rest. That week, I change my hours at the shop. Early start, early finish. And tell Denise I'll take 2 weeks of the vacation time I've banked in case of emergencies. This qualifies, I tell her. It does, she says, and signs the form. If she shows up here to lobby, I'll handle it. She already tried sweet. I say, lunch with kisses. Next she'll try grand. Don't make me throw her out, she says with a cracked smile. Wouldn't ask you to. Megan storms, then softens, then storms. She sends an avalanche of messages the first day, then a picture of the sunset with, remember when we said we're a team? I don't respond. On the 3rd day, she leaves a bag on my porch with a hoodie and a note. I washed this. It smells like home. Call me. I carry it to the storage unit and set it on a shelf. At Tyler's shop on Saturday, she comes in hot because she can't get traction at home. You think you're better than me now? She asks, voice low enough to be public without being loud. You think because you filed you win? Tyler wipes his hands and goes into the office without being asked. My crew knows when to give me a room. This isn't a contest, I tell her. I'm just not playing your game. My game? My game. You're the one with rules and checklists and storage units. The storage unit is so you don't throw my things out of anger, I say. The rules are so I can go to a barbecue without being made into a joke. She glances at the bay, at the guys, at the door, weighing whether to cause a scene on my turf. She tries a pivot. I miss you, she says, and this time the softness sounds like an actor hitting a mark. I haven't slept. Sleep is good for the voice, I answer. It makes it less sharp. You're cruel. I'm clear. She steps closer. Come home. I live there until the sale, I say. I don't come home to be managed. Sale. I have a realtor coming Tuesday, I tell her. We'll take the equity and split it. Cleanest path. I already moved my stuff we don't share. You don't have the right. Both names, Meg. Both signatures. You're doing this to hurt me. No, I say. I'm doing this to end it without dragging it. Hurting you would be staying and letting you keep shaping a man until he looks like a startled shadow. She tilts her head. You practice that line? I live my lines, I say, and walk past her to the office. Tyler hands me a bottle of water like it's paperwork. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't need to. By the time the realtor's SUV pulls up on Tuesday, Megan has decided to act like grace itself. She offers coffee to the agent, smiles at me like we're teammates, nods at comments about staging. It's a performance for the signed papers she knows will come. I don't interrupt. Performances end. Contracts stay. That night, Her last big move arrives like a scene change. She lights candles, cooks a steak, sets the table like the early days when we were not arguing about plates. She even puts on music low enough to mean I'm supposed to feel cared for. When I sit, she begins without throat clearing. I made a list, she says, and my eyebrow rises on reflex. Not that kind. A list of things I appreciate about you. Save it, I say, cutting into the steak. It won't change what I did. Can you just hear it? You've delivered enough lists for a lifetime. I'm trying, she says, and her voice wobbles. I am. I get scared. I try to shape things so they don't fall apart. I push you because when you drift, I feel alone. I know I'm hard sometimes. Hard isn't the problem, I say. Contempt is. That's a strong word. It's the right one. So what? You walk away from our history over tone. Over a dinner where I got carried away. It wasn't a dinner. It was the pattern boiled down, I say. You wanted me smaller, then you wanted applause. I wanted you better. You wanted me yours. I reply. And not in the married way. In the inventory way. I'm not inventory. She stares at the candle for a full 30 seconds. If you leave, I'll be the one who has to explain it to everyone. Do you even care what that does to me? You'll explain it however you explain it, I say. I won't be there to be your illustration. She throws the napkin down. You're cold. I'm finished, I answer, and that's the whole thing. We move fast after that because fast is clean. The house goes under contract in 4 days over asking, because this neighborhood sells itself. I rent a small, bright place near the shop with a garage big enough for a workbench. I make 3 trips with my truck and a dolly. The last trip, Megan waits by the door like a checkpoint. I want to keep the dining table, she says. It was my grandmother's. It stays with you, I tell her. It always was your anchor. And the big mirror? Take it, I say. I don't need to schedule my face. She crosses her arms tight, then lets them drop. Last chance, she says. Don't do this. I set my key on the counter. I take nothing else that doesn't belong to me. I look around the living room where we planned holidays and argued about lamps and realize it's a set, not a home, when every conversation is a note. She waits for a speech. I give her a sentence. Find someone who wants coaching, I say. I want respect. She swallows whatever she was going to say next. I pick up my last box. I don't slam the door. I don't look back. The move is the line. In the weeks after, the attempts come like weather systems. A text, I drove by your shop. Proud of you. A voicemail, I told Mom I messed up. We can fix it. A photo, remember this lake? We were happy there. I don't respond to bait that looks like memory. Shannon corners me near the driveway again. Heard you're selling. Sold, I correct. Quick, she says, like I cheated at cards. She's a handful, huh? She's a person who likes control, I say. And I'm a person who doesn't need it. Shannon laughs, but it's soneless. You're blunt. I'm free, I answer and walk away. Denise pulls me into her office one afternoon and shuts the door. You look 5 years younger, she says. I sleep, I tell her. I have a niece, she says with mock seriousness. She likes tools and terrible movies. I'm not shopping, I say. Good, she replies. Healthy men find women without shopping. Tyler comes by my new place on a Friday with a box of screws and no comment about the furniture. We put up shelves, drink cold soda, and look at the clean lines of a garage where nobody has a clipboard with my name on it. You good, he asks. I'm steady, I say. Steady is good. If I'd filed that first week, I say, I would have saved time. But you doubt it, he says. Now you don't. He's right. I don't. I spend Saturdays on the water with an old friend who runs a small boat. No brand logos, no competition, just air and the rhythm of a line cutting and pulling. I start going to breakfast with Marcos and his wife on Sundays. They tease each other in ways that land like a pat on the back, not a slap. A month out, I'm at a community fundraiser my shop sponsors. I hear a laugh I used to know and turn to see Megan across the room. She looks smaller, not in body, in posture. Her mother stands too close. Her father stands too far. She catches my eye, starts to move, then doesn't. Later, Frank finds me near the coffee urn. You all right, he asks. Better than that, I say. He nods. I saw the table. Hard move. Necessary. You said what needed saying, he tells me. Not many do. Appreciate you, I say. Keep going, he answers, and that's it. He's a man who knows when his words are enough. 6 months later, The shop is busier than I can staff. We take on fleet accounts. I promote Liam to lead tech. I buy a small, older house with a wide porch, a real fireplace, and a detached garage I can turn into a personal workshop. It's not a showplace. It's mine. I pay it off faster than math says I should because I'm not subsidizing a lifestyle that eats respect like snacks. On a snowy Tuesday, I meet Claire at a community center where I'm fixing a busted treadmill. She's a nurse with dry humor and steady eyes. We talk like adults about schedules and silence. When I mention the Sunday check-ins, she laughs. That sounds like a job, she says. It was, I reply. I quit. We go slow. Slow doesn't mean indecisive. Slow means choices you can defend with your name on them. She asks blunt questions. I answer them. She doesn't treat me like a kit to assemble. When she shows up at my place with soup after a long day, and I tell her I don't do lists, she grins. I brought soup, not a spreadsheet, she says. Good. I have bowls. We sit at my table, an old oak I found at an estate sale, and talk about ordinary things. The sound in the room is easy. The air doesn't sting. Nobody reaches for a phone to record a flaw. The last I hear about Megan is from Shannon, of course, who can't stand to let a piece of news go without a spin. She's renting downtown with 2 roommates, Shannon says at the mailbox, like she's reporting a headline. The market's insane. She says men are disappointing. Tell her I agree, I say. Shannon laughs. You're something else. I'm finished being something for someone else. I answer and walk back to my truck. People ask me sometimes if I regret the line at that dinner. They want me to say I could have softened it or shaped it or stacked it between cushions to make it land easier. That line wasn't anger. It was diagnosis. The biggest mistake, marrying you. Not because she's a monster. Because I shrank and called it love. I let a sharp tongue draft my days. I let a person with a clipboard run an inspection on a life I built with my hands. Now I wake up early because I like the quiet before the world starts asking for things. I make coffee the wrong way, which is my way. I lift. I shower. I drive to the shop in a truck that smells like work, not panic. I come home to a house where every object has a place and none of those places are labeled Jack. You're almost good enough. Friends stop by. We grill when the weather's right. We fix things when they break. If you want the lesson, here it is without decoration. Respect is not a negotiation. You don't earn it by passing tests someone keeps writing midterm. You set your line. You hold it. You move when your line gets crossed. Not with fury. Fury burns out and looks good on video. With facts. With calendars. With keys on counters and messages that say only what they need to say. When I moved the last box and left that key, Megan lost what she was building. She didn't lose me. She lost the control she used to call love, the comfort of a house that ran on her checklists, the status that comes from telling people you're the foreman of a man. I didn't take it from her. She set it down when it stopped working. My life now isn't fireworks. It's better. It's steady. It's mine. And if a man at a barbecue starts making jokes at my expense, I do exactly what I did in that backyard. I say, careful. If he doesn't hear it, I leave. It's not dramatic. It's dull. And dull is repeatable. I can live with that.